So, hello, good friends, and welcome to Kelly's Wordy Reactions, where I review content and videos that I find interesting, then react and provide my commentary. If you would please hit the thumbs up and like the video as you come in. Also, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Feel free to hop into the chat while you're here or just sit back and listen. Whatever you decide, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. Now, let's get the show on the road. Okay, so today I wanted to take a little trip back down memory lane and listen to Yes, I'm Hazel's account of the time when she met, interviewed with, and eventually began to work with the infamous Nasty Nesto. So, of course, Nesto is the now ex-husband of Shirley Strawberry, who is the co-host of Steve Harvey on the Steve Harvey Morning Radio Show. So it's been a while, and I'm sure it'll be interesting to just hear her testimonial again. Now, when Yes, I'm Hazel did her, when she did her story time about the situation of meeting Nesto, I'm not sure if I played it over here. I might have, I just don't remember. Um, okay. But I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I want to go through that story time of hers again, and just now that there's so much more information that we've heard, and we've got the RICO. We know so much more about everything that he was charged with, or I do anyway. Um, so now that we have all that information, we've heard a lot more from him and all of his cohorts and everything, the ones that we've had a chance to get to know about. I still wish I had more information about this Miss Jones character. But hey, Texas Toy, hey, thank you for coming in. So now that we have all that, I think it would be a good time to go back through Miss Hazel's story time. And so I went over there and checked, and it's actually still up. So let's get into it. And let's see, which one is it? Here it is. Okay, let's go. And oh yeah, it's gonna sound a little funny at the beginning. I think she was running water or something, but it'll go away. It'll clear up in just a second. The story time is about. Hey, did y'all get a chance to read the description to kind of like know who the story time is about?
If you haven't, read the description of the video. It'll kind of give you a little tip, a little tidbit about who this story time is about. Yes, girl, I gotta multitask because shit gotta get done, and yeah, I was
This
on my
was
computer
recorded
earlier, so
in
now I'm like
January
trying to
2024, so more than a year
maneuver
ago.
real quick,
Isn't it
and
funny how time flies like that?
yeah, you gotta clean your body. You
I
be
would have
getting
said it was a
dirt,
while
y'all.
back, but I
Don't
don't
be
think I
washing
would have
your
said
face
it
for
was a whole
nothing.
year.
Help them, Lord. Yeah, so if y'all ready, y'all know exactly what this is about. And to be quite honest, although it happened in 2016, I feel like I didn't say anything for a long time for a few reasons, and I'll share every last reason with you guys. Um, but it is a part of my life, and it is a part of my journey, and something that had happened to me, something that I experienced. I glossed over it for a very long time. You know, you guys got plenty of story times of things that happened well after that, but I purposefully didn't speak on that for the longest. I just wasn't really comfortable. Um, I don't know. And right now, to be quite honest, I'm in a space where, like, whatever, y'all know me well enough by now to know that certain shit I'm not ever going to sugarcoat. And if it happened to me or it was a part of my experience, I have every right to speak on it. And for the longest, I just felt like, why? But I'm like, whatever, it's a story time. It happened. And I got through it. And yeah, I'm good. Anyways, I've been good. But why not share the story with y'all? Why not give you guys a little background about what happened to me when I was 22 years old? I was 22, was about 8, 9 years ago. So yeah, I was like 22. I had just had the girls. They weren't even one yet. Alrighty. As long as you guys read the description, you know exactly what this video is going to be about. And as I continue to get ready, I will talk about it. So basically that, hold on. And as you guys see, to be quite honest, like everything happens for a reason. And I always knew that like ugly people and the ugly shit that they do, like it always comes back on them. Like it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might not even be next week. I know things that I've done that were ugly in the past, I've got my immediate karma for it. But sometimes that shit takes a long time, and sometimes it just it's not when you expect it, or when you think it's going to happen. It just happens when it's supposed to happen. And for the longest, I like 2017, 2018, those years, I kind of was like watching, as things just progress in a positive way for this person. And I wouldn't say jealous or mad, I was just a little confused as to like how a person so vile and so nasty could be receiving blessings. Like it was really confusing to me. So that was a big part of why I didn't say anything initially, because I'm like, well, damn, like I don't even know if my voice will be heard in this moment. It's this person's bigger than me, or this person is, in a relationship with a really big person, and their outreach is further than mine. So why the hell would I even dare say something about it? Because I don't feel protected in this moment. So why the fuck would I ever speak on that? So I think that was a lot of the reason why I just didn't say anything, because I didn't feel like there would be any consequences for those actions at all. Just felt like it was one of those things where you kind of just like, you got to take it on the chin and move on and act like that shit didn't happen. So, basically back in 2016, I had just had the girls. A lot of you guys know that I used to be a dancer before I had the girls. That's where I met their dad and everything. And when I got pregnant with the girls, of course, that's a complete lifestyle switch. Their dad went to prison when they were 4 months. So I was like by myself outside, pretty much fending for myself, and I had twin babies to take care of. Well, of course, we all know that as women, when we get pregnant, our bodies go through these changes, and a lot of these changes we don't expect. Like, you can't tell me based upon your experience how my body would look after I have babies. So I wasn't able to get hired immediately back at the club because I didn't look the same. My body wasn't the same. I had stretch marks. I had a C-section scar. I have keloid skin, so you can only imagine how that looked. My entire body was lighter than my belly. My skin had stretched so far because I was so small that I just had a lot of extra overhang. It was a lot of things that made me self-conscious about my body, but I had tried to go back and get a job and it was unsuccessful. I went back to Magic. I went to um, where else did I go? I went to a couple clubs. Magic was my first option, and he just told me basically in a nice way to like take it easy, enjoy my babies, and come back after a couple months. But I know it was my body and the way that it looks because I see girls come back after 2 weeks of having a baby, and my babies were probably 6 months at the time. So it was, it was just different. So I had started trying to find work in other places, and I was trying to just find ways that I could support myself and my babies without being in a space where I was compromising my livelihood. Like, I wasn't doing some of the shit, because my baby daddy at the time, he left me with resources to complete the mission that he was completing that got him locked up in the first place. And I wasn't comfortable with doing that because I didn't want to be like, both parents can't be away from the babies. So I didn't pick those habits up. Instead, I started trying to use the resources that I already had, which was my body, of course. Like, I could go work. I'm very pretty. Like, I could just do shit at the club. Like, even if I'm not dancing, maybe I could be a waitress and stuff like that. But literally, nobody will hire me. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I started looking on Indeed. I started looking everywhere for these jobs, and I stumbled across this job at a barbershop. And basically, the job said that it was going to be, what the fuck did they say? So at this particular barber.
Now, you probably remember, but if you don't, uh, Hazel is going to talk about a barbershop. She's going to talk about the owner of the barbershop. She's going to talk about different people that work there, the owner's son. She's not going to actually name the name of the person, the owner, or any of the names. I'm thinking. I don't remember her naming anybody, but she did point out right at the beginning that she wanted people to read the description and just kind of understand who she was about to talk about. So as she gets deeper and deeper into this story, I think she may have already tipped off her subscribers and people that follow her already that she was going to tell this story one day. So that's how she's kind of able to just kind of go through it and say things like, I told y'all I was going to tell you this story one day when I was ready to tell it and all this. But her followers pretty much, and she's a YouTuber. She's, yes, I'm Hazel. And I'll put her link in the description. But she already knew she was going to tell this story one day. And I think her followers and subscribers and everybody knew. So she's telling the story. So at this point in time, Nesto, as we understand this story is about, Ernest Williams, Shirley Strawberry's ex-husband now, he's already in jail. He's already under several charges by now, and it appeared that she was just at the point of feeling comfortable enough to talk about this. as far as I know, she's still not someone who is on any sort of a witness list or anything. She said she wasn't interested in putting her story out as far as the legal system or anything like that. She just wanted to tell her story and be done with it. As we get into it, if you haven't already heard it, it's pretty traumatic. The thing, the way everything went down and happened with her. So, like I said, as far as I know, I don't know. Maybe by now she has decided to speak out to the police or in some way, maybe be some sort of a witness or something. But for right now, she's just on her platform on YouTube telling her story as she remembers it to be. So we'll go ahead and get back into it.
Barbershop. They have men that are barbers, and then they have women that are like not really like hostess. I forget what they called them back then, but they were basically at the barber's beck and call. Like you bring them everything, you make sure that they have like their combs, their brushes. If their clients need something to drink, you offer them something to drink. Like you're basically like just at their beck and call, like kind of like whatever they need, you're supposed to get it. And that's what the ladies are there for. So when I saw the job listing and I'm like, damn, I did go to hair school. I am a hairstylist. Like I can start here and then maybe I can learn how to be a barber. Like at that point, desperation was like at its all-time high because what I never wanted to experience with my daughters was poverty in any way, shape, or form. Like I didn't want to know what that felt like. I didn't ever want to experience it. Like, yeah, as a child, yeah, with my dad, I experienced a lot of different things that kind of scarred me and made it a traumatic experience for me as a parent. And I never wanted my kids to go through that. So I was willing to, not sell my body, but I was willing to like work in fields that I wasn't familiar with to make the money to support myself, to support my babies. So I was like, fuck it, it's a barbershop. I mean, I'm familiar with like cutting hair. They showed us a little bit of it in hair school, but I can learn and I'm very quick on my feet. And maybe if I could start in this position, then I can learn to be a barber and then maybe I could be like the most bomb female barber out here. Like my mind just started going crazy at the like possible opportunities that this position could present to me. So I reached out on the ad. They told me to come in and meet with the manager. And the manager at the time, her name was Miss Jones. So when I got there, I dressed really cute. I had these like lace up brown boots that I always used to wear. And then I had on like this, I don't know if it was like a cardigan jacket. I don't know if that's what you would call it, but it was almost like trench coat style because it was kind of kind of warm, but it still had like a kind of chilly vibe to it. Like it was just now kind of moving into the summertime. So I had on that jacket. I feel like I had on like a long kind of like skirt, but the boots kind of met the skirt. So it looked like it was a full piece. And then I had on like a cute little top. That's from what I can remember. So when I get there, I pull up. She tells me to meet them at a certain time or whatever. So I get there and immediately when I pull up in the parking lot, now mind you, this place is in Buckhead, which I'm like, okay, that's a really good area. It's a barbershop in Buckhead. I never heard of it, but let me go try to see what what it's about or whatever. So I go up there, I get out the car, you park behind the building, and I get out the car and I go inside of like I'm walking inside the place. So as I'm walking into the barbershop, because I called the Miss Jones lady who I had been speaking to all this time and told her I was there, and she directed me to which door to come to. She didn't want me to come to the front door. It was like a back door that all the employees and stuff come through when they come to work. So she directed me to come to a set of stairs in the back of the building, come up the steps, and then they would let me in the door. As I'm walking to the door, though, I see a gentleman. He's standing outside talking to somebody, but he's standing by a car, a very nice, luxurious car. And he's standing there talking to somebody. I don't know who he's talking to, but literally from the time I stepped my foot out the car to the time I got to the steps, their eyes followed me the whole time. So I get in the building. Now, mind you, um, I'm not knowing that this person that I walked past happened to be the owner of the barbershop. I didn't know that. I just thought it was guys. It happens to me all the time when I'm walking outside. They be gawking at me and shit when I walk past. Like it's nothing new. So when I got out the car and started walking towards the door, like I had no clue who this person was. I just see two guys staring at me as I'm walking to the door. In my head, I'm like, okay, great, confirmation. I look good today. This should seal the deal. Like, there's no way that they'll tell me no. I should be walking away from here with a job. So I go inside. I meet with her. She asks me all these different questions about me, what my background is, what I used to do, why I want the job, have I ever cut hair, um, like just all the like random interview questions or whatever. So I'm like, I'm answering all the questions and stuff. She seems like cool people. She's in like a little office. Now I know that the office wasn't her office, it was his office, but while he's not there, she occupied the office because she's the manager. So I mean, he's not there a lot, so she was in there all the time. So she kind of like gives me a brief rundown on like the lay of the land, the law of the land, whatever, as it pertains to the barbershop, and lets me know the different positions that people are in, and lets me know like the different barbers that are in there as well. His son was one of the, I guess, celebrity barbers in there, so he had like a room off to the side, and the rest of them were kind of like in a common space. I don't remember how many barbers it was, nor do I remember how many girls it was. I only remember one girl in particular, and it's because to this day we have her cousin is a friend of mine, so I'm familiar with her, and I see her from time to time. But she worked in there as well. And when I kind of looked around, they have the women wearing like these black bottoms, these button up tops, and we wear bow ties. And it's almost like butler style type of thing. So I'm kind of just like peeping the way that everybody's dressed, and they have like this dress code and stuff. Now, the Miss Jones lady that I'm speaking to, she too has on like these thigh high black boobs. Like, she's dressed kind of fly, she's cute. So I'm just kind of like taking it all in, and she's telling me about the company and telling me like what they're looking for, all these things, telling me that I may be a good fit, but she can't pull the plug on me getting a job until I meet the owner. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll wait to meet the owner. Like, when is that going to happen? Because at this point in my head, I'm like, I'm desperate for a fucking job. Like, I'm ready to work. So she tells me that the owner actually said he was pulling up shortly, and that when he gets there, she'll bring him in to meet me. So this interview probably lasted like 2 fucking hours, to be completely honest, y'all, because it started off with her just introducing me to the job and showing me around a little bit. And then we ended up waiting a little bit, and she stalled for time for him to come. So when he comes in, I realize it's the same guy who literally watched me come from the car to the door. So
Now he know he should have been ashamed because you don't waste nobody's time like that. And he was there. Like, how long does it take you to walk in from outside and be like, oh, okay, I have this interview today. Let me go in here. What the hell are you doing to where you have to use all this time letting her sit around? And, it's only so much showing somebody around. So he could have come right on in and got his section of the interview underway. But I'm pretty sure that's some sort of tactic that he thought he had going in his mind, in his demented mind. I'm sure that had something to do with something, but yeah, just wasting the young lady's time like that. It's stupid.
I'm like, oh wow, I just saw you in the parking lot. And he's like, yeah, yeah, I saw you too. You look nice. I'm like, thank you. So he's like, yeah, so basically asking me the same questions that the Miss Jones lady was asking me, like, what am I looking for? What is it that I wanted to do there and all this stuff. So I kind of give him a brief rundown, the same thing that I gave her. This time I'm just, addressing him as the owner, because now I really want to get the job, and you're the owner, so you can really pull the plug on it, not necessarily her. So I'm like telling him my background and what I essentially want to start doing, but I do want to get into maybe learning how to be a barber, and just figuring out how I can be the best to the company, basically. So he's like, okay, okay, like I like her. I like her drive. I like what she's bringing to the table. Like, I like her. Like, let's set her up with a another interview, and then we're going to, after that we sign paperwork, and then after we sign paperwork, we'll move forward. We'll get you into training. We'll show you the training video, and then you should be all set to start. So I'm like, okay, perfect. So they tell me come back in like 2 days or so to fill out the paperwork. He tells me to wear all black or something. Like, he tells me to wear the dress code. So I'm like, okay, it's looking like I'm about to get the job. Like, I'm really excited. Come back. When I get back there, I go through the same way. get up there. And when I get up there at this time, he's not there, but it doesn't take him long to get there. He was kind of like right behind me. So she holds me in her office for a second and we talk. She introduces me to a couple people and then they direct me to go downstairs. So I had seen downstairs the first day when she gave me the tour. But so I was familiar with where we were going. They showed me it was like a little
Hi,
meeting
honey.
area down there. It had a big old
61.
table, like
Thanks
a
for
conference
stopping
table where
by.
all these chairs were around it. So when we go downstairs, it's me, it's the Miss Jones lady, it's somebody else. The memory is like kind of shot now because it was so long ago. But I remember it being his son. It was maybe like two more people. We all go downstairs and they all sit at the table around. They all sit around the table and I go to sit, but he's like, no, stand up and go stand over there. And he directs me to go stand in this like open area off to the side of the table. So I'm like, okay. And as I'm standing there, mind you, I had saw all the paperwork. He had brought all the paperwork down. So I'm seeing all the paperwork and seeing what I got to sign and stuff. But before he lets me sign the papers, he turns around and was like, no, 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 don't sit down. Go over there and stand up. So I'm like, okay. So I follow his orders. I stand up. And then he's like, all right, strip. So I'm like, huh? He's like, strip. I said, like, strip what? He's like, strip down. I don't know if you're familiar with who I am, but I'm married to a very prestigious person. And we have a protocol here. We got to make sure you're not wearing no wires. So I'm like, okay. Like, at the time, I don't know who you're married to. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But all I know is how much I wanted the job and that I'm not like crazy unfamiliar with like taking my clothes off.
Now, see, here's the real unfortunate part about this situation. I'm not sure, and if somebody knows, put it in the chat, but I'm not sure if he knew that she came from working in a strip club. But if I'm not working in the strip club and what I'm doing has nothing to do with taking any clothes off, we not getting ready to talk about no taking no clothes off. So I just feel like that's the really, really unfortunate part about this. I mean, well, it's not even the worst, but it's building up to the worst. So, this is one of those tests that somebody who's awful like this is going to put you through, because they're going to see immediately, do I want you around, and in what capacity? So, I guess if she had not gone for it, he probably wouldn't have even had time to have her around, because not to be a spoiler, but to get just to touch on it, later on, she's going to talk about how it wasn't even really all that much traffic coming through there. So, if you don't have a lot of traffic coming through a place and you're talking to somebody who's not bringing any traffic, so she's not already somebody with a built up clientele. I'm pretty sure at some point he figured that out. So she's not coming with her own clientele. He don't have a lot of traffic at this barbershop. She made that, kind of clear. So what is your role getting ready to be? How am I going to get any money to pay you? So he's trying to feel her out and see, okay, how far can I get with this situation? And I'm pretty sure he would have just dismissed her or told her he'll call her and never called her back or something like that if she hadn't done it. But being that, and she's going to talk about that, being that she was coming from the type of environment she was coming from, and then he had his, bullcorn reason as to why he needed her to do this, she was kind of already kind of ripe for going ahead and doing what he said. But it's just unfortunate that she was in that kind of state of mind of so much desperation, because I think as well, if she hadn't been in that desperate mindset, like, I have to start working, I have to, get to the place of where I can take care of me and my kids again. She just had a baby, she hadn't been in that state of mind. I think she would have thought about it a little clearer and been like, no, I'm not in that atmosphere. Like, this is a barbershop. I'm not taking off anything. Um, and Texas Toy says, my oldest is 21 and she's gorgeous. I hate seeing old men old enough to be her granddad checking her out. Yes, I feel you on that one. I do feel your pain. I remember I was taking my daughter to get do a little photo shoot when she was turning 13 or 14, and we were in the grocery store. I think it was a Sam's Club. We were, doing, yeah, I guess I was picking up her cake at Sam's, and we were in there, wandering around through Sam's. And you know how Sam's has the little food, little, samples you can eat as you walk through. So she was going up to get a sample, and some man, moseyed up close to her and started talking to her. And I was like, went right on over there and got her out from over there, made sure he knew I was her mother. Like, this is a child. And she looked like a child. I mean, she was maybe, I think she was turning 13. I think that's why we were doing the photo shoot, because she was just, a real teenager. But but yeah, it's awful. Hey, Sunshine. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, this is a Nesto miss. So let me let her tell it. I hate that she was in that place where he could say that to her, and she would even think that, well, I guess this is just part of the deal.
in front of people. Like it just was the background that I came from. So I contribute all of that to like my mind frame at the time. Like I'm not oblivious to like taking my clothes off and shit in front of people. So that part wasn't really as bothersome to me in that moment because like I'm fresh off of being a dancer and I'm like, all right, you say you want to see if I'm wearing a wire. All right, cool. So he makes me take all my clothes off. So I leave my panties on because I'm on my cycle at the time. I had just got an IUD put in from the girls, so my cycle was irregular. So I'm standing there, and after I strip down and show him like my boobs is out, my belly is out, and then mind y'all, I just described to y'all what my belly looks like. So I'm a little self conscious. That's the only reason why, like the whole stripping thing was a little degrading to me because I just knew my body wasn't like how I'm normally used to showing my body off. So he had me standing there. So he proceeds to ask me questions while I'm standing there with no clothes on. So I'm like bending down to try to pull my clothes up, and he's like, no, 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 no. Stay right there. We're not done asking you questions. So now he wants to talk to me while my clothes are off. So I'm standing there and I'm just answering the questions or whatever the questions are. It's not that many. And then he basically tells me like, yeah, he tells me a little bit of background. He never tells me who he's married to, but he basically tells me that it is it's a very prestigious person and they can't have nobody in here wearing wires because they handle strict business and all this type of shit. So I'm like, all right, I mean, whatever. So cool. Fast forward, I put my clothes back on. Mind you, all of them sat there with a stone cold face. Nobody said nothing.
Now, this is one of the reasons why I wish she would have taken her story to the police, because this is kind of corroborating evidence as to how he was always using Shirley. Like, he's always using this woman, their relationship, and her name, even though he hasn't. She said at this point she doesn't even know who he's married to, but he's building up. He's telling her, I'm married to a very prestigious person. We gotta, I have to do things in a certain way, make sure nobody's wearing any wires or anything. So he's always using Shirley. And I'm sure of that throughout their relationship, throughout all of the people that he talks to everywhere he goes, and especially when he's running some game on somebody. He, in my mind, is always using his relationship with Shirley and proximity to Steve Harvey and any and all of those people to get over, what he's about to try to do.
He told me that it's the way that it works. He told me that every single woman that was in that facility went through the same thing. Every single person, to be quite honest, men and women, there was no discriminating. Everybody had to go through the same protocol when they first come in. It has to be a trustworthy environment. And everybody gets checked the same way. So I'm like, all right. In my head, I'm thinking like, okay, well, I've never been in this, like in this whole dynamic of being around a person with a prestigious, marriage or whatever. And maybe this
Right.
is their protocol. Like I'm completely ignorant. I'm completely oblivious. Now I know it's bullshit. But like back then, I was just like, maybe that is the protocol, especially when you tell me
Hey, listen to
that
me. Hi,
everybody else
everyone.
went
Thanks
through it.
for coming
And I see
in.
that there are women upstairs smiling and laughing and kicking. Like this can't be some fucked up ass job where these women like in my head I'm thinking like there's no way a woman would stay in this and be uncomfortable. Like they're upstairs smiling, they're upstairs laughing, like the girls are telling me that they love it. They're like telling me how they maneuver around and how they get extra tips. So it's like I'm like, all right, well, in my head, all of that's playing in my head. Like, okay, well, maybe this is just a normal thing. This is some crazy shit to me. I've never experienced this before, but maybe this is like what happens when you get to the top. Niggas gotta literally strip search you. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Put my clothes back on, fill out the paperwork. He tells me that I officially got hired, that my start date was like in a couple of days or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm excited about it. Completely like block that whole shit out my mind. Like, all right, um now it's on to making making the
Wonder how
money.
much
Like
she
now I
was
can
supposed to
support
have
my
been
girls.
making.
Now we can like start getting back to normal. Like I got a job, so it was like a breath of fresh air to me because again I was not trying to experience that with my babies. They're innocent, they ain't asked to be here. I made some fucked up decisions, so like now you got to just do what you got to do to get some money in your pocket so that you can take care of these kids. So that's really was my mind frame of just like trying to like keep myself afloat. So once I got the job, I was like, perfect, I got the job. Okay, cool. So we fill out the paperwork. Paperwork is just like some regular hiring paperwork. After we fill it out, we all go back upstairs. They give me another tour. This time it's more people.
It's something I just thought of. She said regular hiring paperwork. So does that mean that he's taking in people's full name, full address, social security number, um, all of your pertinent information. So whatever you can do with all of that stuff, as far as anything fraudulent, he's got it. And whatever you can do as far as if I got to get away from you, now you know exactly where I live and everything, date of birth, all of my full information, you have it. So, that just kind of speaks to what he could have been doing with people's information. She didn't talk about a salary amount or anything like that. And when you got to get away from somebody like that, they know exactly where you live. That's not cool.
In the barbershop, so they kind of actually introduced me to people. They let me, excuse me, they let me know where I would be able to put my stuff. I let him know that I still do hair. I asked him if I could take a couple clients because I still had some dancer clients that would come see me at my house. But since I would be at the barbershop, I was like, is there any way where I could service my clients? He shows me like this room to the opposite side of the barbershop that kind of like got a little station set up and I could like do hair right there. It's not like set up for me to be a stylist, but it's enough. It got an outlet, it got a mirror, so I could just pull a chair over there and do hair. So I'm like, cool, like at least now I can double. I can make money at the barbershop as the whatever the fuck they were called, and then I can make money doing hair. Like I could pull some people in here. Now I have a location I can send them because right now I didn't have no place to bring them. Like I was working out of my house. So I come to work and I probably come to work like 2 or 3 more days before Miss Jones hits me again and was like, hey, we got to set you up with the training video. That's the very next step. Like I see that you kind of like blended in already. We got to set you up with the training video, whatever, whatever. So he comes in and he and I are now talking about like other things, other like expansions of the barbershop. He wanted to start a like men's grooming spa. He wanted to like do all these things. And I still to this day have the whole PowerPoint presentation that I laid out for him to show him the men's grooming spa. And like, cause I'm very like, y'all know this about me by now. Like all my shit just looks pretty. I've been that way. Like I've been like on my branding shit. So I'm like branding the shit from the top to the bottom, like what the packages will be called, all this stuff because the barbershop it was like full barber shop at the top, but at the bottom it was like plain and it looked like it was under renovation. So it was going through some stuff, and he told me he wanted to turn that into like the grooming spa. So he wanted my input on certain things for the grooming spa. So once he put that in my head, I'm like thinking of a whole nother avenue I can make money. So I'm like, yeah, and then I could, if you're comfortable with it, I can manage it. But right now I'll work on just like putting it all together. I came up with the packages. I came up with the names of everything. I came up with the descriptions. I came up with everything, and I put it all in a PowerPoint presentation. I was working on it for like a few fucking days, staying up to the wee hours of the night, just putting together this like mini PowerPoint presentation and kind of like doing something that I'm not even familiar with because I don't know shit about a barbershop. But I was like Googling stuff. I was looking at pictures that he had, and I was trying to like put it all together. So she tells me we got to do the training video. That same day, she tells me, he comes and we're all having like this conversation in the office, and I'm telling him like all the different ideas that I have about everything. He's also telling me that he got like a fleet of cars. They got this other barbershop that they about to open in LA or like some West Coast shit. They about to do the car service where like they're gonna have all these like luxurious fleets of cars that they're gonna be moving back and forth. And he's gonna give me a car, after we get to a certain point in the business. Eventually, hopefully, I can work my way up to being like Miss Jones. And Miss Jones drives the company car. It's a nice ass Benz.
And this is Nesto, always gonna give somebody a car. He always, is allegedly, which seems to be falling right in line with what she's saying, tricking somebody into upgrading them and telling them that he's gonna put them in a better position. He's gonna, they should be driving something better so that they can have a better, more upscale look. So this is so right in line with how other people have said that he does them.
All this stuff. So it sounds good. So I'm like, all right, like I'm getting all excited. Like, yes, this is like, the first part was a little awkward, but this seems like a pretty legitimate, business. This is crazy. Okay, I like it. So the next day comes and I come to work. And when I get to work, I'm dressed how I'm supposed to be dressed. He's not there. Miss Jones is there. She kind of like walks me through what I need to be doing, and then lets me know that today is the day we're gonna go watch the training video. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking the training video is just like on some random TV in the office. They just gotta, once everything dies down and they don't need my help anymore, we're gonna go over to another room and then pop the video into the TV. I'm not unfamiliar with training videos. When I worked at Victoria's Secret, when I worked at these other places, they make you sit in the back, pop some shit in the VCR, and you sit there and you actually watch it. It's so annoying, but I just figured it's clearly some protocol and shit that they're not able to physically explain to me. They just want me to see it. So I'm like, all right, cool. So she tells me that we're gonna go, but we're gonna wait until business kind of like slows down, then we'll go watch it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So once business slows down, he comes back to the thing. I'm like, oh damn, I wasn't expecting him today. She's like, yeah, he's gonna come with us. So I'm like, okay, cool. So after everything is kind of like settled down at the shop, she's like, all right, come on, we about to go. So me, her, and him start walking towards the car. So I'm like, where are we going? She's like, we gotta watch the training video. So I'm like, well, where do we watch it at? He's like, you just asking so many questions. You're so intuitive, or some shit like that. He said to me, like basically, like stop asking all the fucking questions. Kind of, sort of, is what it was given.
Yeah, because we know
So I'm
he
like,
didn't use
okay.
the
He
right
like, shit, you
word.
trying to work or not? I'm like, yeah. So he like, all right, just come on, just trust us. Like, come on, let's watch this shit. Let's get it over with because we got work to do. We got money to make. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I go with them. We leave out of the building. We get in the car. We start driving to an apartment complex. So when we get to the apartment complex, apparently this is where the Miss Jones lady lives. And she's like, yeah, we're just gonna watch it at my house real quick because we don't, basically some excuse that they gave me about why we're watching it at her house opposed to watching the shit at the office. So I'm like, all right, we get to her house. In my head, I had never seen corporate living before, but all I could immediately point out was the fact that it didn't look like she really lived there. It looked like she was living out of a suitcase, and she just kind of like it was already furnished when she got there. Like it wasn't nothing that she furnished. It was very nicely furnished, but it didn't give like a woman furnished it. It gave more like corporate furnishings or whatever. So as soon as we walk in, we walk past the lobby area, and I think something was on that night, like a game or a fight or something, because people were sitting in the like little main area watching it, and she spoke to some of them as she came in. So I'm like, okay, she clearly lives here because people know her. So we go in, we go to her house. As soon as we get in the house, he's like, all right, let me get your phones. So I give him my phone, and Miss Jones gives her phone, and he takes his phone and he puts all of them in the freezer. So I'm like, okay, like in my head, I'm like, this shit is kind of weird, but this that fucking prestigious lifestyle. Like, I don't know who the fuck he's running from or like what the fuck is going on, but like, why the fuck is he putting our phones in the freezer? I'm like, what's the freezer for? He was like, oh, it blocks the cell communication. So anything we talk about in here is confidential. Like they won't be able to, yes, put my shit in the freezer. So he's like, they won't be able to like actually trace the phone. Like they can't tell that we was here.
Girl, now by this time, I would be feeling like, okay, I think they might be trying to do something to where I can't come back from it because that sounds scary. Oh my gosh. And I know at some of these times she had to be scared. I guess maybe she's just going off of okay, surely they're not going to do anything to me because I've been to the barbershop, I've met all these people. I see who you are, by this time. I see everybody else. So, surely they're not going to do anything to me. But if somebody is taking your phone and putting it away and talking about blocking signals and stuff like that, that sounds like they're trying to leave no trace that you were there. That sounds really scary to me. So I'm just imagining the only reason why she wasn't like her heart wasn't beating like I got to get out of here and get away from these people is maybe because she had met everybody by then and seen, okay, well surely they're not going to do anything to me. That sounds scary to me.
So I'm like, okay, like that's different. So we standing there for a second. The motherfucker tells me to strip again. So I'm like, why am I stripping again? I just did it. He's like, again, I told you before we had these type of conversations, like I need to be making sure that you're not wearing a wire. So I'm like, I'm not wearing where am I going to get a wire from? Like, why would I be wearing a wire? I'm like, damn, now I'm looking at Miss Jones. I'm like, did you have to do this many times? She's like, girl, it's just protocol. He's very paranoid. Like, it's just protocol. So I'm like, this shit is crazy. So now I'm kind of like annoyed. Like this shit is annoying me. So I go to the bathroom. I strip down again. They're sitting on the couch in the living room. So I come out of the bathroom and I'm standing there. He's like, the panties. I'm like, again, I can't come out of my panties because I'm on my period. So I'm not taking my panties
Sure,
off. He's
no.
like, all right, man.
It's
So
terrible.
what for real, right? Why do you really want this job? So like at this point, I'm so frustrated that I start crying. I'm like, I'm getting really frustrated because it seems like you guys are just playing with me and you're not really like wanting me to work. Like the whole strip down twice, like, okay, you did it the first time. You saw that I wasn't wearing a wire. Now, like, we doing this shit again. I don't even know who you're married to. Like, this shit is kind of irritating me. I'm doing this shit for my kids. I don't want to be homeless. Like, I don't want to be living like that. Like, at this point, I'm like so much, I'm like filled with so much emotion that I am like crying at this point and I'm so irritated and I'm just getting so angry like at the fact that y'all keep doing this shit to me and I don't know how many times I can prove to you that nigga I'm not on that. I just want to work. So after he talked to me or whatever, we talked for a split second. I forget what the conversation was about in depth, but basically, like, I do remember crying. I do remember explaining to him again for like the fifth fucking time why I wanted to work there and why I wanted to like be a part of the team and I see what you got going on. He used to big up the fact that he was like the only black barbershop in such a prestigious area of Buckhead. And he's this and he's that. And his business, he can't tarnish his business. And he used to scream that shit from the top of his like, this is prime real estate right here. And I'm the only black man that's right here in the middle of prime real estate. They usually get this shit to the white man. I can't have nobody coming in here basically sabotaging what I have, all this shit. So I'm just like, all right. Like I understand where you're coming from, but that's not my MO. I really just want to work. I really just want to take care of my kids. Like, I'm really trying to get past this point so that I can get on to like making my money, because this is like kind of annoying. Like, I could be in there working right now. Right here, you told me I'm watching a training video. Like, I don't even see the training video. He's like, Miss Jones makes up some excuse like either the TV's not working or the shit not pulling up, some bullshit. So I'm like, all right, so like what's next? So we talked for a split second again, mind you, the whole fucking time I don't have my clothes on. So after that, I'm like, all right, can I put my clothes back on? He was like, yeah, go ahead. So I guess they could tell like the temperature of it. They wasn't like, I don't know what the fuck they plan on doing to me, but it just wasn't given like do that shit to me. I don't know if it was me crying. I don't know if like they expected me to be a little bit more with it. I really don't know what they expected from me, but it just didn't go, I guess, how they thought it was going to go, or like as
This is
easy
so
as it was, because
sad.
both of them, I could kind of see them both looking at each other. And then they both was just like, yeah, put on your clothes. All right, come on, let's go. I think maybe it would have went differently if I removed my panties, or if I wasn't on my cycle and I told him that, because he's like, your panties in. I'm like, I just told you I'm on my cycle. Like, this is like, what the fuck? I'm
Yeah, I'm
still on my
thinking that
cycle. So he's
cycle
like, okay, like
saved
you could
her.
tell he's like, you fucking lying, but he can't tell for sure. So I'm just like, okay,
Hey,
well,
Dimples Wimples
cool. Like,
504. Thank you for
maybe
coming
because of
in.
my period, y'all didn't go the next step with me, but whatever it was, they let me put my clothes back on. They took my phone out the freezer. That bitch ice fucking cold, and we leave out. He leaves me and Miss Jones in the little common area where people was watching TV for a second, and then we leave and we come back to the office. So when we get back to the office, now this time, I'm like getting a little, like, now I'm feeling a little weary about it. Now I'm feeling a little weirded out about it. I don't want to tell my mom. I don't want to tell nobody, because somebody asking you to take your clothes off twice now, like, and you just keep doing that shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, in my head, I feel like that's where my mom was gonna go. Like, at what point was you gonna like wake up and be like, hey, this shit ain't right, like that, why the fuck he keep doing that to you? But in my head, I felt like nobody was going to understand the hunger that I had to get a job, to like work, and the fact that like the job was like so close to me, and he was just asking me to take my clothes off. In my head at that time, it was like, I mean, he's just asking me to strip. This is nothing new. I've been doing it for like X amount of years in my life. Like, this is not new to me. It's just annoying because it's like you keep doing it for the sake of this fucking wire, and I don't have on no wire. I don't know who you're married to. So at this point,
See, she would have never been doing this had she not just come from that environment where, that was her job. Her job was taking her clothes off. And I don't see how she would have really got around saying that to them, as far as when Miss Jones was interviewing her, whatever she did to do a job application, or since this is supposed to be so much a job. Um, I'm thinking that's why she was able to just kind of roll with it, even though she knew something was telling her like this is not giving the same thing. Like, this not even the kind of job I'm going out for. But she's knowing that it's not right, but she was really in a desperate mind frame of trying to hurry up and get back to work. You got a newborn baby. She needed some money coming in.
when I get home, I start like Googling his name. Then I see who he's married to. So I'm like, all right, now I'm doing extensive research. Now I'm like really like figuring out everything about him, figuring out who he's married, like all of this shit. And it's just not adding up to me, because I'm like, bitch, I would have thought you was married to somebody the fuck else, but I don't even know this woman. Never heard of her. Don't know what the fuck she does. I have no clue what her accolades are, and why the fuck anyone would care if you're in a vicinity with her. Like, who is she? Like, this motherfucker don't even look like she walk around with security. Like, who is she? In the name of who? Steve Harvey? Like, what
Hazel
are we
is
talking
too
about here?
young to
Like, who
know
the fuck is
anything
this
about the
lady?
Steve
And the
Harvey
fact that
morning
he's
show.
doing it,
She
so
don't
that's what,
care about
like,
that.
after I started doing my research, I started getting annoyed with the shit. Like, all right, this shit is starting to actually piss me off, because you acting like you really married to somebody for real. And like, if it's the person you fucking married to, I don't even know this fucking lady, nor do I know her accolades to give a fuck about anything y'all got going on, or to sabotage it. Like, it was, I'm like, like, so that irritated me. So moving forward, I started moving a little bit more. I started moving a little bit more cautiously. around it, because I'm like, all right, this motherfucker playing with me. I guess he didn't think that I was gonna look his name up. I guess he didn't think that I was gonna like try to see who he's connected to. But it's only a certain amount of times you're gonna fucking make me strip, and I'm not gonna have to figure out exactly who I'm dealing with, because who are you? Like, so now I'm starting to do the extensive research. I can't find nothing on the Miss Jones lady. Like, I'm just trying to Google stuff. I found his son. I found him. I found like he has a daughter. I found some information to like, I found that he had a record, and then he told me that he just got out X amount of time ago. So all of these things are playing in my head, and like so many different emotions are running through my head, because I'm like, would this nigga sacrifice everything to knock me down if I was to say something to somebody about the shit that really goes on in here? Like, would he be willing to like do that shit? Would she be willing to do it? Like, I'm one of the people that be watching the
Hey,
crime shows, so
Shirley's
my mind just
divorce
started going
finally.
crazy. So that was a
Thanks
big
for
reason
stepping
why I just
in.
was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just sweep it under the rug. I act like this shit is not happening. Like, this is ridiculous. So I think like the next week rolls by, and I had come to work literally unbothered for like maybe 3-4 more days after that. Um, so I come to work, and after that, he tells the Miss Jones lady to tell me to come to work the next day. But when I get there, he damn near meets me in the parking lot. And when I get to the parking lot, he's like, "Hey, just ride with me. I got to ride to this tag place," because he had got this brand new like little military type Hummer thing. So he was like, "Just ride with me to the tag place, and then you can discuss with me everything you was talking about the spot thing or whatever." So I'm like, cool. So I hop in the truck with him, and we ride on to the tag place. Whole time I'm like having a conversation about the whole PowerPoint presentation I had created for him. So I'm reading it to him
Thank you for
step by step. He like
subscribing.
nodding his head like,
And if
yeah, I'm
you have
liking the way
not
you think. I like
liked
the
the
way you think, like
video,
all this shit. So
anybody,
I'm like,
please
okay,
like the
cool. Like, we're
video.
making some
Thank
headway.
you.
When are you thinking this is gonna open? Like, when are you, like, all of these questions I'm asking him, and he's like, every one little step at a time. We got to get the permits. We got to get this. We got to get that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So in my head, I'm like, great. Like, I did a great thing. He's happy with the presentation. That means that I might be in a good space to do, like managing or something over there. So like, I'm thinking about all the different possibilities of like what what the job could bring me or whatever. So we get to the tag place, we sit down in the tag place, he handles his business with the tag. We get back in the car and we drive back towards the building. So mind you, the parking is in the back of the building. You have to drive down a hill, turn to the right, and like kind of drive down into the parking lot. So when we get to the parking lot, he parks his truck, and the truck has hella tents on it already. It's like a military style Hummer, like not the newer ones, but like the older ones that like that motherfucker is carries cannons on the side, like that type of Hummer. So he gets out the car and he starts dropping the seats in the back. So, and then when I look behind me, I see that there's a TV back there, like how people be watching TV in the back of the truck. So I'm like, oh well, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but maybe he got to go pick up some shit. I don't know, but he's dropping the seat. So that shit didn't even bother me. I'm still on my phone. I'm like texting. I'm like looking through something. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm not paying no attention. But I kind of like am, but I'm not. Like, it's not alarming me. So he drops the seats or whatever. He hops back in the truck. And when he hops back in the driver's seat, he said, "All right, go ahead, hop in the back." So I hop in the back, and I'm about to like bust the TV down. Like, okay, so maybe this is where he wants me to watch a training video. We in the back of the parking lot. Like, it's no way that he's being weird. Because we're like, it's kind of like public right here. He didn't drive me to no alley or nothing. He got me like right here in the back of the fucking, like, my car is right here. So I get in the back, and he was like, "All right, strip." So I'm like, no, no. I said, "I'm not doing that shit again. What am I doing it for now? Like, for what?" He said, "Cause we finna fuck." Just like that. I kid you not, on my kids. I will never forget that shit for as long as I fucking live. I will never forget the tone. I will never forget the look in his.
Wow. Now I know we've all said it before, but it bears saying again. This is just exactly like what he told Sonya to do when whenever that time was, when they finally got together. And I do believe it was the first time. I do not think it was no second time and all that type of stuff. After he said he was married and all this stuff, I do not I don't believe anything that she says. But um, the way that she said when they on one of their calls, when she reenacted how he told her, "Now go back there and take your clothes off." That this is exactly this is this. It's like it's the same thing, different person, same mo, different person. So that's why I say it would have been so good, and I guess it's not too late, but it would have been so good for her to let the police, and I guess the police still might go and pull this from her channel if they know about it. The prosecutors and whatever district attorney, whoever it is, would be to do it. But this is just so much like so many of the things that other people have said about him. Sonya has said about him herself. In her case, she liked him, so she thought it was cute with her dumb self. But this is not, that's not cute. It's not cute. It's not romantic. Um, it is, yeah. I don't know what this is. Like, how does somebody just tell you, all right, take your clothes off? I mean, what are you doing? Um, so yeah, he really tried her. He really tried this with her in that Hummer in a parking lot, like around the side or the back somewhere of the barbershop. This is what he's doing. Um, and yes, this speaks to his character. Absolutely. Not all that stuff that Sonya makes up who he is. This is the type of thing right here that speaks to his character and what so many other people have described about him, people that have charges against him. So let me let her finish telling her story. It's very heroic. I'm glad that she is who she is, so she could think fast enough to roll up out of this situation. But here it is.
Fucking eyes, nothing. Like it was plain as day. That shit had my heart beating out my fucking chest because now I'm in your fucking trunk basically. And what the fuck are you talking about? Because as soon as I started like going back at him, he started like basically like getting with my energy. He was like, "Cause we finna fuck," and I'm like, "Huh?" No, I said no. Why? No, we not. Like what? At this point, like I've never experienced this before where I've been in a sexual encounter with a person that I didn't want to have sex with. So this was like new to me that it startled the fuck out of me. And I felt like this motherfucker finna rape me. Like it's nothing else. I can't do nothing. I'm literally at his mercy. I'm in his fucking car. He's locked the doors. Like, what am I gonna do? So I'm just like, why? Why? He was like, I told you that in order for you to take on this position at this job, you gotta be me. Miss Jones, when I like I told you, when you see Miss Jones, that's me. That's me right there. So if you ever need anything, I told you you need to reach out to Miss Jones because that's me. But in order for you to be in that position that you want to be in, and I asked you several times if this is really what you wanted to do. I asked you several times if this really, where you wanted to be and blah, blah, blah. Like so you told me you was with it. You told me that that's what you wanted. You told me you was hungry for it. So in order for you to be me, I'm gonna have to come in you. So I was like, whoa. Um, um, what? Like, I'm just confused. Like, y'all, I was literally flabbergasted. I was literally speechless. I was scared as fuck. My hands was shaking. My legs was shaking. I didn't take off a lick of fucking clothes. Like, the first thing I opted for was like, I'm on my period. Like, and literally you can hear the shaking in my voice. Like, y'all, I was so fucking scared. So I'm like, I'm on my period. Like I can't do that. And he was like, "You've been on your period for 3 weeks now." Because he's been counting from the very first time he made me take
Wow.
my clothes off that I said I was on my cycle. So you've been counting my period this whole fucking time. He like, "You've been on your period for 3 weeks now. That's not like that can't be true. Ain't nobody on their period that long."
That's terrible.
So I'm like, okay, well, I am because I just had an IUD. I just had twins and my body is irregular. So I'm still bleeding. And he was like, hold on, let me get my charger. So my body is still bleeding or whatever. And like I'm like, no, I can't. I'm on my cycle. So he's like, ain't no way, ain't no motherfuckers on their cycle that long. Like now he cussing and shit. He like, motherfuckers ain't on their cycle that long. Like, I done been with too many women. Ain't nobody on their cycle that fucking long. Ain't nobody on their cycle that long. And I'm like, well, I am. Like, I definitely just had a baby. I mean, just had babies, and my body hasn't regulated yet. Like I can't. I'm like, I'm bleeding. Like I would bleed everywhere. Like I'm bleeding right now. He's like,
Wow, can you imagine just having to sit up there and like, yeah, she don't even know this dude, especially not like that. Like, I have come to this place to work. I have, she's looking forward to all this extra stuff that he's saying that he's going to do with another business. He has her doing all this free work as far as I'm concerned, because I don't think she ever got paid. And I'm kind of questioning as to whether he ever talked about how much she was going to get paid, because she didn't add that part. So this has not been any type of romantic, I'm interested in you. She ain't mentioned talking to this man on the phone, nothing like that. And now I got to explain to you why we can't do, why you cannot have my body. This is all, this is a, this is a violation in and of itself, even though he didn't get to go all the way. But this is so violating. The woman just had, I think she just had twins, and she's having to explain to him why she can't do something that she doesn't want to do anyway. And just thank God that, like I said, she had her wits about her, and she was able to kind of keep, rolling out and, explaining away why he couldn't have full access to her body, because he's been trying to get full access the whole time, from the interview to the let's look at the training video, all the way at this whole corporate hotel room. Now, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and take it in the car. And I got to keep explaining to you why you can't have access to my body. I feel like this is a charge right here, even though, like I said, he didn't get to do the fullness of what he was trying to do. Um, but this is gross. Um, Putting somebody in this type of a position right here, and you know she didn't have anything for this man. She was trying to go there and do some work.
all right, so this is what I'm gonna do. If you're really serious about the job, like I told you, like I'm willing to give you the job, but I already told you, in order for you to be in this position, in order for you to be me, this is just what it's gonna be. So I'm gonna give you another like week or so, basically, to kind of like clear your situation up. But we gonna revisit this shit. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. Like let me just see what my body does in like a week, and then we can revisit it. That's perfectly fine with me. Like I get it. I see what you're talking about. Like, now mind y'all, I am breathing hard as fuck. I'm so scared. So I'm like, yeah, like, okay, like cool. Cause at this point it's say what the fuck you need to say so you can get about this car. Because the energy, the shift in it was so fucking spooky to me that I was like, okay, yeah, bitch, you need to just, it's operation, say whatever this nigga need to hear so you can get out this fucking car and go on about your
That's
business and
right.
get in your
Save your
car and
life.
go.
Operation
So
Save My Life.
whatever he was saying to me, and I was just like, okay, okay, yeah. That's fine. Like just give me like a week. My first time having kids. Like I don't know what's going on with my body. My body is kind of weird. But it might lighten up by the end of the week or something like that. He's like, yeah, but either way, I don't give a fuck. Like at this point, we just got to get this. Like we gonna have to get it done. So I'm like, okay, like yeah, just give me like a week. I'll be a little bit more comfortable, and then like that's cool with me. He was like,
He's
all
prepared to do it
right, cool. I'm gonna text
either
you, okay?
way.
I'm like, okay, like that's fine, but I am like breathing hard as fuck. He was like, cool. So I climbed back over the seat, get the fuck out the car, y'all, and I literally never went back. I left all my shit. I didn't have not. I took all of my hair equipment that I had spent so much money on, and mind you, I didn't
Amen.
have
Nesto
no money
shackle
spending
shuffle
like
walk
that.
of
I hadn't
shame.
been paid from them from the hours that I had put in. I didn't really have no money
Yeah,
for real, which
they
is why I was
deserve the full
going so hard
gas.
to get the
They
fucking
really
job in
do.
the first place. All of my hair equipment, my combs, my flat irons, things that I had spent a lot of money on, I left it in his barbershop because I was doing hair from there. So like I was fucked up. I just left. I never went back. I never spoke to him. I never texted him back. I never said nothing to him. I called my mom finally, and I had finally told my mom, and she was in tears. And I just told her, I'm never going back, mom. Like I don't want to go back. I don't know who this person is. I don't know who he knows. Like I just want to sweep this shit under the rug. I never, ever, ever want to see this man again. Like I've never been in a situation before. That shit could have went crazy for me. Like I don't know what the fuck I got myself into. Like all I wanted was the fucking job, mom. Like all I wanted was to work to support my babies. Like at this point, I'm hella emotional because I'm like, how the fuck could a person be so sick? How could he be so sick? And he has a daughter. Like, and then his wife is like this prestigious person. Like I was so confused for the longest. I couldn't make.
And this is another one of his frauds. This is job fraud. I don't know what the true name. I guess it would be like employment fraud, because you're interviewing people. Ooh, I really wish she would have pressed charges against him, because you're going to the full extent of interviewing people, you telling them, you violating them while you're interviewing them, and not really giving them a job, and then they're having to fight for their life to get away from you. And then they kept all of her stuff. She wasn't able to get her stuff away from them, but she's gonna say that here in a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Sense of it at all. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know who to talk to. I just swept it under the rug because I just felt like that was the best way to handle that situation in that moment. Because what the fuck? What else am I gonna do? Like, who am I gonna tell that's gonna believe me over him? And he's married to, like, even though she ain't the top of the top, like she's in those circles. So like, what are they willing to do to protect his name? Like it was just a lot that I dealt with in that moment, and a lot that kind of like went through my head. So I just swept it under the rug and I act like that shit didn't happen, and I moved forward. And I'm like, you know what? It was a traumatic experience for me from the start to the
Good
finish. It was
suggestion,
one of those
Texas
things where
Toy.
like I was
That's a
taken
real
advantage
good
of
one.
as being naive and stupid and just kind of like wanting to like make money and money, money,
Yeah,
money, money,
I'll
money.
have
And
to
then
I'll
it
have to
became
look
like
that up. Maybe just
the
go
root
ahead
of the
and
evil
attach
shit that
this
was going
and
on and
send it
happening to
on.
me. So that was kind of like, that was it for me. I was living at this place in the city. It's called the Altitude now, but it was called the Office Inn. My friend happened to live on the same floor as me, and she happened to be cousins with the young lady that worked at the place too. And after that happened to me, I reached out to her because her and like her gay best friend, they worked there together. And I reached out to both of them because I was confused, and I'm like, did he ever do this to y'all? Like, was this ever done to anybody else, or was this just a me thing? Because he said that he's done this to everybody. Like, so nobody had questions for me, but I asked the girl who worked there, I'm like, can you get my stuff, please? Like, can you just don't make no noise about it? Don't say nothing. Just go in there and just like put my stuff in your bag and then like bring it to your cousin house because we live in the same building on the same floor. She's my neighbor, literally. So she was like, what happened? What happened? Like asking me all these questions. I'm like, I really don't want to talk about it. I really just want to, can you just please get my stuff for me? So she calls me back and tells me like, hey, I tried to get your stuff, but like niggas was watching me like a hawk and they asked me what I was doing. And when I told them what I was doing, they told me to put everything back and told me to tell you to come get it yourself. So I was like, fuck it. I don't need none of it. It's fine. Like, I don't want none of it. It's okay. I told her, I was like, it's okay. Thank you for trying though. I don't want none of it. I don't want none of the, it's all right. I'll get new stuff. It is perfectly fine. I will never fucking step foot back in that facility again. And the fact that y'all trying to get me to come in there is weird to me. Shortly after that, the
And see me, I would have told them, she told me to get her stuff and I'm gonna get it. And or she could have just waited until the end of her day and packed up her stuff and went over there, got that young lady stuff out of her wherever she had it and walked on out of there. I mean, I don't really know why it was so difficult for her to just get her things, but it couldn't have been me because she would have had her stuff,
Miss Jones lady called me
and they wouldn't
and
have
she
they
asked me
wouldn't
what
have tried
happened
me on it
and why
either.
I wasn't coming back. And I explained to her how
Because
fucking
I'm not
weird they
asking
all
you. I'm
are and how
telling you,
weird
I'm
I
getting
felt
this
that shit
stuff.
was and that I'm not gonna come back. So, I wanted my stuff back, but if y'all harboring my stuff, talking about I gotta come get it, then fuck it, I don't want it back. I don't need it. I'll get more. Then his son called me and called me trying to be understanding and figure out what happened, and just hear me out. And I explained somewhat the similar situation to him. And I told him I ain't never coming back in that bitch. That motherfucker is weird. Like I've never felt that way in my life. That has never happened to me before. And that shit is just perverted and it's nasty and I'll never come back there. And then I hung up on him. I don't know how the conversation ended, but I ended up hanging up on him. He called me several more times. I blocked him. I blocked
Right,
her.
Dimples
And I
Wimples,
blocked that shit from my
call the
life. And I'm like,
police
you know what?
and
I
be
will
like,
pay the bill. I
okay,
will get all my shit
I'm
back. I
getting
will
her
buy more
things.
stuff. Like God will make a way for me.
I
He'll
have her
provide
permission to get
as
her
like
things out of
somehow for
here.
my family, and I know it. So like, just stay, just find another job, sis, because that wasn't it. So that was like my experience with the fucking weirdo. So everything that's going on now, and like even when I would drive out of city, it would be times when I would feel so like enraged when I ride by and see that your building is still standing and see that why the fuck are you being blessed still? And this is the type of person you are. Like, how the fuck is your building? How is it still standing? So I just
This
used to
man
pray
was
like
never
God, like
blessed.
I don't pray on nobody's downfall, but I pray that these evil demonic motherfuckers, I pray that something like you rain down in some way.
He was just on
Shortly after that, the
hold
whole
before all
shit
this
got
stuff could
bulldozed, like the
unfold
whole
on
place where the
him.
barbershop was. They bulldozed the whole thing. They put a whole multi-unit, big ass luxury condominium on top of it, where it used to be. So that building is no longer. So the whole procedures, I had a place in this whatever, like all that shit was gone. They bulldozed the whole fuck out of it. Um,
I think if she came forward and told her entire story to the police, that everybody in that room, when she did her interview and he told her he needed to see that she didn't have on a wire and she undressed in front of all those people, I think all those people could be up for a charge, uh, in my opinion, especially if there's some type of way that she can prove it. Maybe if she told anybody shortly thereafter, or whoever she told, or whatever kind of way she could try to prove that up. um Let me see. I'm sorry, but some of the ladies will always help a man violate another woman. That is sick, sad, and disgusting. It really is. It really is. So yeah, like the Miss Jones and Ren and Stimpy over there. Oh, let's see. And now he pretends he has no idea where any of these charges are coming from. Yeah, he knows. He's probably surprised that it's not some more on him. I've always said in the back of his mind, or right at the forefront, or wherever it is floating around in there, he knows. He knows all this trash that he's done. He knows what he's done, and he's probably always waiting for another shoe to drop. Like, I wonder if that other thing I did is going to come out. I wonder if anybody's ever going to say something about, XYZ. That's what Nesto is doing. He's always wondering, okay, they got all those. I wonder if anybody's going to ever say something about something like this. He knows that this was foul and illegal on so many levels. Dion and Miss Jones definitely need to be charged. Everybody that was in the room needs to be charged. That was not normal. They're all sick in the head. They are. And, she just was happy that she got away. And she just wanted to go on with her life. And, she has her children, she has her businesses. And I guess she doesn't want to be kind of, drugged back down to the pits of hell to deal with this stuff. So you can understand that too. Um, it's just, I would really like for him to have to be held accountable for doing her this way. And not only her, there was another young lady that came through and talked about her situation with Nyla, and also with another platform. I can't remember if that was Houston Foodie a long time ago. Um, but yeah, there was definitely like three young ladies that had dealt with this same thing of going there for a job and having to strip down and all this. The phones, yeah, that's a good question. Well, they were running so many between him and Erica. They had so much fraud going on. Fake notary stamps and stuff like that. Like you you got some real fraud going on if you've gone to the extreme of having your own notary stamps made. Yeah. All right, let's let her finish out. It still got a little ways to go.
And they built a whole new facility from the ground up, a brand new um, condominium thing. They're so nice too. But I rolled past there. Me and Justin actually more recently. I think it was about 2 years ago or something. We rolled past there and we saw him outside. And the name of the building, it was still on the top. Like it was at the new place, but it was underneath it now in the like little things that they have underneath. So it was like he got uprooted, he got swept from the land and then came back. So when I see it and I'm riding in the car with him and I like literally lean my motherfucking seat back so far because where the stoplight made us stop, it was right in front of the store and he was standing out there on his phone. So I had leaned the seat back. He like, what you doing all that for? And at that point, I had told him what happened to me. I had never shared that story, but he was just like, that nigga sick. Like, I can't believe that. And I'm like, yeah. So like, anytime I saw him, like it just made my heart beat real fast, and I just like leaned my seat back because I felt like in his head it's like unfinished business. Like, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want no cars. I saw him in traffic one time, and it was literally stop and go traffic, and our cars kept damn near meeting up with each other, and I kind of like was like, hell no, I'm not. I don't even want him to look in the car and see me. I don't want him to ever see me again. I want to be a figment of his imagination, and like literally, it never happened. Like I don't want to ever encounter this man ever again. So what I thought when me and Justin rode by was that he was moving in, and I'm like, how can this person still be like thriving? Like how? And what in reality was he was moving out. Like all of that shit was happening with his case. All of that shit was starting to happen with whatever's going on right now. Everything started to like shift, I guess, in his world. So that place is no longer there. It's something else now. But I'm like, this is so crazy that now all of the bullshit that was happening over the years is coming to light. I believe everything every single victim says because I too was a victim at one point. Like I believe every single thing. Like I'm not gonna victim shame in this moment because how dare me? Because that is how he is. That is him. And every sick thing a person is saying, I wholeheartedly believe it, even though that shit didn't go to the extreme with me. But I believe every single thing that is being said. And I used to sit and listen to the Steve Harvey show in the morning, and I would hear this lady read these letters, and I'm like, I should write a fucking letter because there's no way that you're sleeping next to a person like this and you don't know. Like you're giving us advice, and the person that you sleep next to every night, this is how this person does. Like there's no.
And with that being said, can y'all imagine how many people probably wrote into the Steve Harvey Morning Show and told Shirley or tried to tell Shirley something? Because surely, if they were writing on her Instagram under, in the comments section, I'm pretty sure somebody tried to write in and tell her and see if she knew what he had going on. And the sad thing is that she probably got a lot of those messages and dismissed them. Let's see. Nesto Shackle Shuffle Walk of Shame says it doesn't matter what happens on the next hearing date. I don't believe Nesto will ever give us the satisfaction of knowing all the details of his misdeeds. I wish that they would make him go to trial. I just think whatever they try to give him, he's going to take it just so he doesn't have to specifically, sit there and hear out all this testimony. Um, so I hope they offer him something big. So that's what I hope for him, that they offer him something big because he is going to be he's always said it that he doesn't think it he doesn't want it to get that far as going to trial. So I'm leaning toward he's going to want to take whatever, but it would be good if some kind of way he would have to go to trial, and maybe he will, just because whatever they present him with might be so large that or his legal team might advise him, you need to go to trial. And if he has faith in the legal team, he might do it, just because we all know he always just depends on other people talking for him. So maybe that's why he would do it. Otherwise, he don't want to sit up there and have to have all this stuff said. That's why he wasn't going to go to the divorce, but they made him go to the divorce hearing. That judge said, get your client here next time. You better get him here. And I don't think he was even being represented in the divorce, but the judge wanted him there. So that's why he was even at the divorce, because, we know he wasn't going to that divorce. Sure, they combed through the letters. Shirley was a victim and had no idea. Well, Dimples Wimples, I tend to think that Shirley was a victim of a lot of this stuff too. I think she did know what people were saying about him, though, especially. I don't think she could escape it. I mean, people were writing it all on her Instagram posts. And even if she did, and in her Facebook stuff too, I think she didn't want to believe it. But if he's getting arrested, he was getting arrested. And stuff like that. So I don't know if he was lying and she wasn't looking into why he was getting arrested. I don't know, but she did not want to believe that this man is who he is. That's for sure. He should get no less than 50 years. He was so mischievous, that man was into so many crimes. Yes. Nesto and Sonia, a couple made from hell. Yeah, you know how he's always telling her, you hell on wheels. He is too. Literally. If his legal team advises him to go to trial, that simply means even they want his ass locked away for life. That's funny. That's funny. And that would be some justification. You say you can see that. Yeah, because, like I wanted to, not necessarily, I guess I'm just empathetic. I'm very empathetic toward women and our causes, our problems, our, everything that we have to go through. And so I just was like, oh my gosh, he's doing all this, fraud behind her back. And I do believe he was doing a lot of fraud behind her back. But I do also believe that there was plenty of exits for her. And I think she just didn't want to take them. I think she didn't want to believe it. If remember the calls where she was saying stuff like, oh, they just want my life. Like, I think if she would have really believed that her life was as jacked up as what it was, she wouldn't have been saying nobody wants her life, because don't nobody want that. Who wants this fraudulent ass, jacked up life that she really had going on. Like, this man is really married to some other people. You married to somebody that's married to a couple of other people. Don't nobody want that. But she really thought that, people was out here jealous. Ain't nobody jealous of you. They was really trying to tell her the truth. And she's sitting up here thinking, oh, they just want what I have. These people are so jealous. No, maybe you ought to listen, especially when it's more than a couple of times. Let's see, Shirley was being abused mentally, emotionally, and verbally. She's not confrontational. And that does seem to bear out as well, because um it seems like he was doing a lot of things that she maybe couldn't like focus upon, because she had to focus on her job. And then I always go back to her age. Like, I'm tired at the end of the regular day, and then Steve Harvey has got her doing all kind of different stuff, working different hours whenever, whatever is convenient for him. They just have to roll with it. And she's got to keep herself up, because by this time, somewhere in there, they started doing the live, where they can, it's not just hearing on the radio. People can tune in to you and see. So she's got to keep herself up. She's got to perform on her radio show. She's got to get her rest. And who got time to be running around, trying to figure out what Nesto is doing? So I don't know. It seems like she just gave up a little bit. And then, of course, he was just doing what he wanted to do and making her just have to deal with it. Um, so yeah, but I wish she would have, of course, taken one of those exits and listened to some of those people. At least heard them out. Like, yeah, it might be a lot of stuff that happens when you have some, fame and everything. I know you can't listen to everybody, but at least see what people are talking about, kind of vet the information, have somebody else help you kind of look at what people are saying, because, and then look at your life, look at the fact that you are actually getting put out. You are getting, you are thinking he's dealing with certain things, I guess. And then you look up and you got to move, and, look at your own life. Look at your own bank account dwindling down. Look at stuff that he was supposed to take care of, and he's not taking care of it. And he's always got an excuse. He's always into some stuff. She could have just looked at that alone. But, it is what it is. Let's see. Let's get back to Miss Hazel.
No way you're out here giving relationship advice and this is what's going on. Like, I just, for the life of me, couldn't wrap my mind around her being oblivious to it. Like, there's no way. There's no way you're oblivious to that shit. I don't I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. Queen of Hearts, I read some sodomy, some all type, it's other shit. Like, I don't even know. I haven't even dove into it because again, it's like a weird sick rabbit hole. But it's some other charges that were up on him. It was like sodomy and some other shit. I do remember sodomy, that word, as one of the charges. So but yeah, that right there, I just couldn't really wrap my mind around like why that type of person was still receiving blessings and why things were happening good for them. And I'm fucking struggling or whatever. And I was just trying to do the right thing. How could this happen? Like, how could I end up in such a weird situation? But again, it was because I was going for the money, and it was because I was losing my dignity in the shit that built me to be me. And I literally lost my voice in the process. I didn't say nothing. I just let that shit happen to me. I was just like, well, whatever. This might be how it is. I've never dealt with a person with a prestigious person. Like, I'm just stupid. Like, I was making sense of it all because I wanted the job and I needed the job. So I was like, fuck it. Maybe this is what's supposed to happen. I don't know. But once that shit happened, I definitely didn't look back. I spoke to my mom about it, and we just kept it pushing. We swept it under the rug, act like it never happened. But that was my situation. That was what happened to me. I don't plan on taking it no further than this little story time. Like, it's just, I have a right to speak on things that happened to me in the past, and that was one of the things that happened to me in the past. It was one of the stories I glossed over for years because I didn't want to bring it back up, but like whatever. I mean, he's already dealing with whatever the fuck he's dealing with. And yeah, as my audience, y'all know I give story times, and y'all know that I'm pretty much an open book with the majority of the stuff that goes on. And that was one of the things that I struggled with wanting to talk about, but whatever. Like I got over it, I got through it, and the man never penetrated me, thank God. So I just, picked up all my shit, whatever I had left, and I kept it pushing. But, it was one of those things, y'all. It was definitely weird. Let me go back in the comments, y'all. I didn't get a chance to read the comments. But yeah, that was my experience. And yeah, I lived through it, and I'm grateful, and praises to the Most High, like my mom said, because hey, mama, that's who brought me through. Hey, Stigma, what you doing? Don't blame yourself. You never know how to react in those situations, because I definitely would have been shocked as fuck if some man told me he had to blank me for a job. That bitch is baffling. Yeah. Yeah. That building probably saw a lot of things and a lot of women I know, and that motherfucker got tore down. Like it got tore down to the ground, and it is no longer, the business is no longer. So everything that's happening in this moment, like you got to be a sick individual to even support someone like that. Like sucks for his wife or whatever in this situation, especially being that you were married to someone so vile, and this the type of things that he did, like, or does, or it was a part of, because hell, that shit happened to me. I don't know who else it happened to, and it actually succeeded. I don't know if my period is the saving grace for me, or was the saving grace for me. I don't know what it was, but I thank God for it, whatever it was, because I've never been in a scary situation like that in my life, to where I felt like I didn't know, like I was a girl. Yeah. Like that shit was kind of spooky. I'm in the back like, what? I'm about to do what? No, girl, I was trembling. I was stuttering in my words. I'm like, oh, this man about to know that he about to probably call my bluff, say I'm lying. I didn't know what the fuck was about to happen to me, but yeah, imagine what Cassie went through. I'm not going to tell any victim that they're lying, because it be some shit going on. For real. It really be some stuff going on. And the fact that he did that after you had cried in the apartment is insane. He's heartless. Yeah. Yeah, when you get approached like that, you're literally in a state of shock. My heart was beating so fast out my chest, y'all. I was hyperventilating, like, but trying to quietly do so, because I'm at your mercy. Like I'm in your car and I can't do anything. If you was to pull off, I would be stuck. And what could I do? Bang on the windows? Like, y'all, when I think back on it and I think of all the ways that I was in a position to where I could have not been here. Like, I could have not been here. Like, the fact that you put my phone in the freezer and it cuts off all cell communications and nobody can, like, you can't ping off a cell phone tower. I never heard that shit in my life. Like, what? I've never heard of that in my life. Like, what is going on? That was the first time I ever heard of some shit like that. Like, it was the boldness. We going to fuck. Yeah, like the tone of it, y'all, and the look in his eyes. I was like, oh, he about to take what he want. I just already know it. I could just sense it. And I'm just in my head like, God, please, Lord, please, please, please. Like, oh my gosh, I watch this shit on TV all the time. And it ends so bad sometimes for girls. Like, please let me get out this car. I want to get back to my babies. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking about. You know, this was an innocent thing. God, please, please, please. Like, in my head, I was just pleading with him to just let me go. Because I don't know what this man is about to do to me. And hell no. Like, the worst thing, my babies are so attached to me. And they've been so attached to me since I've had them. And I couldn't imagine not going home to them. I couldn't imagine, like, oh my gosh, like, when I replayed in my head, I'm like, girl, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? What were you thinking? Like, how did you let that go on for so long? Like, what were you thinking? But all I knew was, your ass better not go back there for the sake of no flat iron, no comb, no nothing. And I ain't turned back. And yeah, that was it. Like, what, SV? I'm talking about spun the block. I came right back like, baby, come on up out of there. Get in your car and go. Zoom up the street, man. Zoom up the street. Get the hell on. Don't ever turn back. And that's exactly what I did. Because what? It's only so many times he's going to save me. It's only so many times he's going to protect me. And I'm walking right into it like that. Like, God damn it. Didn't they say God protects babies and fools? At that time, I feel like I was a fucking fool. I was just doing shit. And I just thank God I got out of it because found myself in a real stupid ass situation. I couldn't even believe I was in that situation. I was so embarrassed to even talk about it because the second that I say, yeah, and he made me strip down, niggas is like, what? And you did that dumbass shit? And I'm just like, well, actually, hear me out. He said I was, he was trying to see if I was wearing a wire. I ain't never been through that before. I don't think anyone can speak on it unless they've been through it before. And like, you can say what you will and won't do, but you actually have to be in it to actually speak on what you will or won't do. Like, yeah, you don't see the bad situation until you're out of it. Like, I didn't see that shit when I was in it. Even when it was happening to me, I was sweeping all of it under the rug. Every little flag that was thrown at me, I was like, I was dodging. I'm like, okay, whatever. Girl, you about to get this job. Like,
And it
it was a
is the
lot for
shock
me. So I
factor
was
a
just
lot of
like,
times.
I'm
People
gonna
get
just sweep
away
that
with
one under
certain
the rug.
things
I'm gonna act like that
because
shit
it
ain't even
shocks
happened.
you
But
and you don't
it was
really,
just a point in my
you
life
hadn't
that
had time to think
I
about how to
overcame, and
respond. And
it's
if you're
whatever.
not just
Like,
real, fast on your feet, sometimes people will get stuff over on you just because you just don't, you're like, what? You don't really understand how to respond to it in that moment.
yeah. Hello, baby. Did your work done?
I don't know.
Okay. Half-dressed women in a men's shop. Why? The women was there to make you comfortable. Yeah, as I look back on it, I think that's exactly what it was, because he told me that every woman had done that. So when I asked my homegirl if her cousin had done that, she was pissed. She had called her on the phone, was like, did this motherfucker, like, she hella, they were a hood or whatever. She was like, did this motherfucker make you take your motherfucking clothes off? Did he make you take your clothes off? She was like, no, I swear to God, no. Like, no, I don't know what he did to her, but he didn't make me do that. I was like, well, according to him, he said he did it to everybody. Now, he could have just told me that to make me comfortable with what he was doing to me, but he told me that every woman in that facility went through the same thing. I'm just telling you what he told me. She was just like, he didn't never do that shit to me. He never did that shit to me. Like, hell no, hell no. I ain't never even known that he was doing that shit. He ain't never did that shit to me. And she was like, girl, I swear to God, if this bitch ass nigga did that to you, like she going off to her cousin, backing up off of it. So whether it happened to her or not, I don't know. Still don't know to this day. But he told me that's what he does to everybody. Miss Jones doubled up on it. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this is just protocol. But she put on everything. It didn't happen to her. So maybe it was just me. Like, I don't know. Maybe it did just happen to me. What am I going to do? How am I going to prove that it happened to somebody else? But
I
she say it
doubt
didn't
that.
happen to her, then I guess it didn't happen to her. And I
And
was
you
just
know
like,
what? As a
okay,
matter of
well,
fact, we know that it happened to other people because we
I
have
was the
the other
lucky one
young
this
lady.
time. Like, I just got picked.
What was her
I was the
name?
pick of the litter.
I know
I
what
don't
her
know.
name was.
Maybe it was
Put
a
it in
look
the
thing.
chat.
Maybe it was
Um,
me telling them where I used to work thing, and him thinking that it was a green light to, do whatever he
oh,
was
hi, Keisha
going to
Marie. Thanks for
do whatever he
stopping
was going to
in.
do to me. Like, maybe, me being in that vulnerable state that I was in was just like, shit, she about to be with whatever. She said she trying to make money for her kids. She used to dance anyway. So like, shit, let's see if we can get her, on our team to do what we got to do. So yeah, but that shit didn't
Absolutely.
go
Thank
over
you,
well because
Dimples
one thing
Wimples
about it,
504. It was Nova Savannah. So it was Nova Savannah and a friend of Nova Savannah's that she had to come, work there. And I want to say no, it was Nova Savannah's friend. So Nova Savannah was like kind of about it, and she was ready, and she was like, I'm not. I think she didn't. Nova Savannah say she kind of pulled her shirt down and let him see it was no wire in her shirt. She kind of just pulled it right there to the cleavage, like, here, you see, ain't nothing in here, and she didn't do it. And then her friend, um she told her friend about the place, and her friend came, and I guess it slipped her mind. I don't know how that could slip your mind, but I guess it slipped her mind before her friend could come in there, and or before she remembered to tell her friend not to take anything off, and her friend was the one that did go ahead and strip down. And basically she was kind of tricked into it, with this same, I got to make sure you're not wearing a wire. I am somebody. My wife is somebody. I am somebody. And we got to make sure, uh, you don't have no wire on you or so. It's just, I don't know. He's where he's supposed to be, and he's getting what he's supposed to be getting right now. I think we can all rest assured in that. So, and I don't think he was even surprised. I think he wanted somebody to rescue him for sure. And, we saw that how he was pretty much, just doing everything he could do to try to convince Shirley to hang on in there with him, keep this relationship. So I know I got bond money and whatever other kind of money I'm going to need. Um, but he knew how foul he's been, and once this stuff started coming out, it's pretty much a chain reaction, domino effect. Like, it's all coming out. So, but yeah, so she's definitely not lying. She and Nova, Savannah came out after this young lady did, Hazel. And by the way, this young lady's channel here on YouTube is Yes, I'm Hazel. She does her own content. She's a business owner. She has some different types of lines of product and stuff. So if you want to go over there and support her, please do go give her a subscribe in her channel. Um, she certainly deserves some support and a big thanks for helping us, all of us who've been watching this story pretty much since it came out. So she's helped us put some pieces together about this man, um, and maybe even the authorities. We'll see.
Two things for sure is some shit I'm just never gonna do for a dime, for a drop of money. And at that moment, yeah, it was gonna have to be the R word because it wasn't happening. Like it was not happening. And I'm just like, that shit is disgusting. That is what I'm not doing for no dollar amount. I'm not willing to compromise that. Now you tell me the damn strip, I was like, all right, whatever. This used to be my past life, but cool. Like we here now. I don't got no wires on. Like I was just so like ready to get it over with so I can get on to this fucking job. But like at the second strip, I'm like, all right, this shit getting weird. You want me to do it a third time? Like, all right, now I'm standing my ground. Like, what for? Like, there's no way that you need me to do that shit a third time. I've been with you. You didn't take me to places like the tag office. Like, why is you having me ride around with you if you don't trust me? Like, what are you doing this for? Shit, because we finna fuck. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, wait for you to just get right to it. Startle the fuck out of me because shit, you didn't have, it was like no glossing over that one. Um, Imagine what happens at the higher levels. He did it to her. I'm sure everybody in that shop saw and experienced something that has stayed with them. Yeah, it's very embarrassing. I used to be ashamed thinking of way I let older men speak to me because I laughed it off versus reporting them. They didn't even touch me and I was embarrassed. Miss Jones, jail, period. I don't, to be quite honest, y'all, I have erased even the way she looks out of my memory. I don't even know what she looks like. I couldn't pick her out if I was to ever see her again. Some people can't understand what happened to them. She was scared or in denial. She might not know the ins and outs, but she had a feeling she can't be in everybody's business but her own. Yeah, exactly. I think you have to have had a hunch or something. Like there's no way my husband's not going to be living double, triple, quadruple lives, and I don't know about them. No. It's embarrassing for victims to fess up. I used to want to tell. I used to want to be like, oh my gosh, like I want to tell. I want to tell because this lady, like, she is in a top, you know, eh, she's in like one of the top positions she's on the radio. So I wanted to tell so bad, but I was like, one thing about it, two things for certain, people gonna ride for their people, and that is her husband. So I'm not gonna say nothing because why? Baby, you're willing to do whatever to
It's
save
sad.
that man. Like
She
hell
would have
no,
been
it's
right
to
about
save your
that.
face
Shirley
because
wasn't
again,
she wasn't
shit
trying to
tied
hear
to
that.
him is tied to you. So
She just saw somebody
at
else,
the end of the day, it's giving
coming
what you
for her
willing to
in
do to
her
save
life.
yourself. So I'm just like, nah, let me not even bring this up because this shit could have hit the fan in 2016. But everything happens for a reason. It happens in due time. It happens when it's supposed to happen. And now there's so much evidence that what is my story even doing? Like whatever. It's just something to talk about. Apparently, Miss Jones isn't even her name. I doubt it. Unfortunately, it seems like he had you marked from day one. The minute you stepped out of the car on the first day for the interview. Yeah, I think so too. Like, I think he automatically kind of like just knew where he was going with it for me. I probably didn't dress like hobo enough or something going in there. I wasn't like, tomboyish enough. I was very cute. Like I dressed similar to how I dress now. Like I'm going to put clothes on. I'm going to look nice. Like I want to look presentable in every aspect, and I'm going to get a job for goodness sake. So why would I not want to be pretty? So it was one of those things, and I was just like, yeah. That was probably a thrill for Miss Jones. She probably was the side bitch willingly, and she felt like she had the upper hand. I think so too. And I didn't know when he told me, like, if you ever need anything and you're not able to reach me, you can reach her because she is me. Like, she is me. So if you need anything, she is me. I remember that shit verbatim. That is exactly what he said. So when he told me why he had to do what he had to do to me so that I can be him, there was only one way that I could be him, and he needed to ejaculate himself inside of me. He needed to do that in order for me to be him, and that was not okay. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't remember that voice. And maybe it is normal, you know. Maybe the way that maybe that did get him some play. Maybe that worked for Miss Jones. That shit didn't work for this Miss Jones. It didn't work for me. This one a little different. This one like hell no. The hell. But it spooked me out because I didn't know where I didn't know what the next 2 minutes was about to look like for me. I didn't know if it was just gonna be like you about to have to go through some shit real quick, or by the grace of God and just being protected and guided and guarded, I'm gonna get about this car and I'm going about my business. And that's exactly what happened to me because, yeah, I'm so glad you're here to tell your story. Thinking quick on your feet got you the fuck up out of there. Woo, thank you, honey, because yeah, me watching some stuff on TV. That's why sometimes people be like, "Why do you watch stuff like that?" And I'm like, I don't watch it because I'm obsessed and I want to learn how to like chop somebody up. I watch it because the mind frame of a person that does that, like these people dissect the mind frame of the individual. It be signs, it be like bullshit that you can see. Like, how did you not notice that? So now, I still watch stuff like that, and I'm just like, I don't know about that. Like that, they moving kind of weird, like that's not it. So it was just certain stuff that I'm like, okay, but the freezer and the phone thing was new to me. I've never seen that, never seen it on TV, never. That was some new shit. Never had experienced that before. The strip search shit, new stuff because you married to a high power person. I'm like, all right, well, probably what they do in them high power places, people begin strip search all the damn time, like you in jail. But it was just like, nah. We all know what it means when a man is overly perverted and sexual. He's absolutely enjoying prison. I thought Miss Jones was Dominique that they bring up all in all the calls. Later found out her real name was A. Kenny misspelled the first name. Alexander, am I wrong? I've only seen that on cartel shows. I was completely like oblivious to it. It didn't ring a bell for me, but that was my excuse me, that was my story time. And yeah, that was my interaction with Nasty Pesto. Mm, everything that's happening is happening how it's supposed to happen for that person.
That's as close as she got to
And
saying
it
his
just goes
name,
without two
Nasty
things. It's
Pesto.
like when you pray to God, I don't pray for nobody to be hurt. I don't pray for nobody to like lose nothing. I just pray for who that person really is to be brought to the light and somebody to see it. And it don't have to be brought to the light by me. Like I never wanted to be the first person to say something. I'm not trying to spark shit. I don't want to be the target. So like I was just like, yeah, let me just shut up and not say nothing. But it was one of those things that I'm like, I can't even believe I encountered this person. I can't even believe that this type of person was even in my damn life in proximity near me. But I walked right into that when I walked into that place of business to get a job. I watch true crime too because you do learn the behavior of people and it helps you think more critical. Yeah. Shit might look sweet at first, but what's done in the dark will always come out. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Even the strongest and most outspoken people have been in these situations. No more victim blaming. Yeah, I'm not blaming a single victim. Like if you say that's what happened to you, yeah, freezing the phone shit is wild. It takes a sick person who's done some crazy shit to know that. Yeah, I've never, ever, 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 as much crime shows as I watch, I have never seen a person do that. Ever. But that shit definitely happened to me. That he definitely put my shit in the freezer. It was frozen. It was sitting right in the freezer. All of them stacked on top of each other. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the live up. Um, I'm gonna leave the live up. I just kind of sat here. I'm gonna stop getting ready after I got out the shower. So I'm gonna finish getting myself together. But thank you guys for tuning in. Like always, I hope you enjoyed this story time. The phone in the freezer shit would have had me shaking like a leaf. They would have put me out because I would have started sweating and freaking the fuck out. Because what kind of hair we cutting from my phone to be frozen. Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but it was definitely in the freezer, and it didn't spook me out in the moment, which is so crazy to me. I think I was just going with the flow. I had developed like some weird level of trust with Miss Jones because I had seen her more so than anything. So I felt like if anything, she would protect me if something weird was going to happen, and she wouldn't put me in a space like that to where something was to happen to me, because I just felt like she would protect me. Like that's kind of how I felt. So at the time, I didn't think that I was in any danger, any imminent danger or anything, because felt like I had established like a small little bond and like a little trusting relationship with Miss Jones. So I was like, if anything, I don't really know him like that, but me and Miss Jones kind of been around each other for at least a week or something. And she ain't gave me that vibe. Everybody around the office kind of like vibes with her. People would have told me to watch out for her. People gotta want to look out for you. There's no way there would be so many women in here smiling and kicking with her if she was like a wicked individual. So she's got to be like a woman of some sort of ethics and morals. So she ain't gonna put me in no weird situation. We in her house right now, so I mean, okay, take me here. Here's the phone. Like it was one of those things. So I didn't feel like I was in danger in that moment. Thinking back on it, I'm like, bitch, what? You put your
Meanwhile,
phone in
Miss
the
Jones
freezer? Are
is
you
Nesto.
crazy? Do you
So
know
whatever
anything could have
he's
happened to
doing
you?
and
And
whatever he's
anything
on,
could have
that's what
happened.
she's
They
on.
probably would have swept the cameras clean, like anything, girl. Like the way that my brain just started running a mile a minute after I was out of it and like look back on it, I was like, God, you are amazing in every which way. Like I just appreciate you so much, so much, and I'm gonna continue to be faithful, and I'm gonna continue to just walk a clean, righteous path, because as long as I keep doing that, and as long as I live right, He's always gonna protect me every single time. So
Okay, I think she's about done. Um, there's a couple of more minutes, but she's wrapped it up. So that was it again, y'all. And I am glad that I played it again because hearing it a year and some months from now is definitely more. You can really just see so much more correlation between all of the different all the different people that he's been involved in. I feel like something was a little bit kind of ritual. What was it that she just mentioned? Um, what was it that I was thinking? It was a little bit like, because he seems to be so into these rituals. I don't know where he gets them. I don't know if he's making them up or what, um, but yeah, he's done so many things that connect the dots between so many different people. So yeah, he's really been out here wilding out, and it is a blessing. What's a blessing is that he's off the streets. That is a true blessing in all this. He's up off the streets and not terrorizing the people of Atlanta any longer. Um, was really sad, and I don't know what can be done about this. Like, just because somebody says Lord, Lord, it says this in the Bible. You can be saying Lord, Lord, and your heart be very far from the Lord. And somewhere in there, I don't know when people are gonna wake up to that. It's happening all over. It's happening in politics with people saying Lord, Lord, and couldn't be further from the Lord. Like, they might even think that they're close to the Lord, but they are literally uh, terrorizing people for no reason. That's not godly. You saying Lord, Lord, and you all up and around the country, um, essaying people and threatening people and frauding people and taking things from people, and you saying, Lord, Lord, your heart is not with the Lord. Now, it might be with some type of Lord. It might be, it might be with the god of the underworld. It might be some type of god that you made up yourself and you got a little statue of it at home, and you do some little ritualistic stuff that you do. But just because people are talking religion does not mean that they have any type of genuine love for people in their heart. And somewhere at some point in time, we need to, as people, like, we need to get that, because if just because somebody is saying God, like you saying God, that doesn't mean anything. You have to look at what people are doing and what they're doing when nobody's around and how they're really living. You can't just be listening to people talk about God this and Lord that. I mean, because who can't say that? Anybody can say whatever you want to say out your mouth. That doesn't make it true. Texas Toy says it's spooky how he recorded people and held people's phones. He didn't want evidence of anything he was doing and always keeping alibis. Yeah. Yeah. Hold my phone? No, that's okay. I gotta go. I'm gonna go ahead and go. It's really like it's just not for me. You gonna leave right now? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just, it's just kind of too many things that, yeah, let me just go ahead and my hand will be right on the doorknob, walking on out. It's too much. A friend of mine used to say, it's too much sugar for a dime. Mm-mm. Um, yeah, you don't want nobody recording you, but you got nerve enough to ask for all these. You can ask me, take my clothes off, uh, let me hold your phone, let me do whatever I want to do, and meanwhile, you got to make sure that I'm not doing nothing. Boy, stop. Yeah, he's vile. He really is. He's a lot worse things than what we can we spend a whole lot of time talking about how awful he is, and it just doesn't ever really seem to be enough, because he just, ooh, the things he's done to people, and I do believe them. Let's see, he knows nothing about black magic. He was doing what he heard. Could be off of movies, no telling what type of movies and stuff that he heard, people he picked this stuff up from, and we know how much he likes shows and movies. So yeah, he could have just been making it up as he goes, but he did have a lot of things that he seemed like he kind of made into his ritual and tried to make people think that it meant something. Like, for example, going to the green waters and cleansing yourself and asking God to forgive you. See, that's something that he made up. That's not a real thing that anybody needs to be doing. Let's see. I think if this community went down and protested, there would not even be a consideration of releasing him under any circumstances. I think you're right. Um, they would definitely, whoever's doing his punishment phase would definitely have to think twice. You say he's too stupid to be in the dark magic. Well, yeah, I mean, as far as like really knowing it for himself, looking it up and things like that. But I do think, he's into manipulation. So I do think that he would hear about things or see something in a show. I'm definitely not going to go as far as to say read about it. But yeah, I think he pick up stuff from here and there, and make it into his own little ritual, and then try to get these women to believe in it, And unfortunately, they did, because Miss Gail Bickham, she went down to the green waters with him. Yeah. In the words of Future. Oh, Texas Toy says Sonya told Nesto that I am Hazel reminded her of herself. Get out of here. Get out of here, Sonya. Get out of you wish you looked like I am Hazel, or you had any of her attributes, and she does not. So she could even Nesto was probably thinking that, girl, you don't have nothing on that lady. Nothing. Y'all don't have anything in common. Hey, I said what I said. How you doing? I'm just about to end the stream. My stomach is over here growling. I hope they don't hear my stomach growling because I rocked right on through lunch, and I've only had a couple of sips of water. Well, look at here. Wait a minute. Native Tribe Urban Media. Now, what do I owe the pleasure? Hey there. Thanks for coming in. Um, yeah, we was just listening to I Am Hazel, and if I'm honest, and I try to be, I thought about this last night as I was listening to V Lenore and Native Tribe Urban Media. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go over there and see if Hazel's interview is still up, because while they were going back over V Lenore's interview, which was Chef's Kiss, like that was her interview was amazing, and so was y'all's reaction to it. I enjoyed myself. Um, but yeah, so then something that was being talked about, I said, let me go see if she still has that story time up, because I want to review that, go back through that again. So yes, y'all inspired me to get back to going back through all this stuff, because we do have so much more. Our information, our database is so much more than a year and 2 years ago. Let's see. Gail, stupid self, follow him over there to the green Florida waters. Yeah. So his he gets these things from somewhere, wherever he gets it from, and then he has the ability to somehow, some kind of which way, convince these women that it's a real thing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Native. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, this is rough. But I'm proud of her. I'm really, really happy that she was able to handle that situation the way that she did. And she was really, really blessed to have been able to kind of take her clothes off a couple times. And like she said, thank God that she was in the position that she was, having just had her babies. But yeah, she was able to roll out of that, pretty much untouched. I know she's traumatized, but she can get through that. And she's doing well. She's doing really well with her channel and her business and stuff. So she's doing good. Native said he was in the bushes. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here with us. Yeah. We know so much now. Sunshine said you love when we revisit the things about this demonic man. we got we got to keep it fresh till he goes and gets his just dues, whatever that's going to be. And keep the people reminded, and especially the prosecution. All right. All right. Well, I really appreciate all of you joining me. And let's see. Okay, you're talking to. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate everybody joining me. I'm gonna go ahead and end here so I can run down and get me some watermelon or something because I am very much hungry. Go get baptized. Go get baptized. Nesto. Yeah, they're gonna let him have it one way or the other. One way or the other. All of his chickens have come home to roost. So yeah, I appreciate y'all joining me, and I will see you on the next one. If you didn't hit the like button or subscribe, go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button on the way out. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.